Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday morning. Hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first, we just hit 4,170 subscribers to the channel. Yes, it is 70. I don't know what Social Blade is doing, but trust me, it is 4,170. Shout out to all the subscribers, and of course, special tip of the cap goes to the channel members. Especially elite channel members Brendon, Mikel, Hasher, Salacious, Crumb, Ryguy, Brendan Nelson's Haircut, VGK Tigers, ItsHoof, The Reno, TVO, Austin Roberts, Scott Todd, PH Glass, Aaron Garrett, Arfman, 12th Man, Eli Bennett, Cassio Feria, Samoan, Jojo, and Rep the 206. All right, so part 3 of our 7-part series is today. Today we are taking a look at another player that the Seattle Seahawks decided to gamble on for the 2021 season, and it's time for the bet to either pay out or get ripped up and thrown in the garbage, for the most part. I want to stress that the players that I'm talking about in this segment, it's not like 2021 is a complete make-or-break season for all of them, but their ability to contribute in 2021 is huge. And if they don't, even if it's not a big indictment on the player necessarily, it's definitely a big indictment on the front office. And that is certainly the case with today's player, Dwayne Eskridge. So this is a rookie. This is a guy who has never played in the NFL before. This is a guy we just selected less than a month ago. So how can we get to a reasonable expectation for Dwayne Eskridge? That's kind of the hard part of this. So Dwayne Eskridge, let's try to understand him a little bit. He's a wide receiver. We drafted him late in the second round, 56th overall. And in college, he was very productive, at least as a senior. He put up almost 800 yards in 6 games. He had other productive seasons. A lot of them were cut short largely by things that were out of his control, like having to play on defense. But in terms of a per snap and given reasonable expectations, he was productive. So let's move forward knowing that this was a guy who had 5 years in college and was productive, at least on a per snap basis, shall we say. All right. So this is the 2021 NFL draft with Dwayne the portion of the draft that deals with Dwayne Eskridge specifically, right? Because here you have 56th overall, Dwayne Eskridge goes to the Seattle Seahawks. So who could we have drafted instead of Dwayne Eskridge at this slot? Well, first of all, let me just say, we can't possibly know if this pick was good or bad yet because none of these guys have played yet. But let's just talk about some of the guys who we could have picked that a lot of Seahawks fans maybe wanted more than Eskridge. Not necessarily me, but if you take a look at people in general, I think you're going to find a fair few people saying, hey, we got this guy, why not that guy? So we got Dwayne Eskridge. At his position, I think you could have found a lot of Seahawks fans who were far more excited about getting Terrace Marshall Jr. from LSU. I think that there was a lot of excitement for the possibility of getting somebody like Marshall after he slid this far. He was supposed to be a first-round pick. He slid this far. There were definitely Seahawks fans out there who wanted to take a guy who had fallen this far. Not really me. After really thinking about it, I'm fine with this. I think this is I think it was probably a savvy move to pass on Marshall Jr. given this team's specific needs. But there's him. And my guy, who somehow, some way didn't get taken until all the way the heck down here, Dyami Brown. This was the receiver who I had targeted if we were going to take somebody in the second round to catch balls. So we decided not to go that way. There were other players at other positions as well. To go through a few of them, Creed Humphrey. A lot of Seahawks fans really wanted Creed Humphrey to take over the center position for Posick. Jalen Mayfield, there were quite a few people, and I would include myself among them, who really liked Jalen Mayfield and would have loved to have picked him up, made him the starting right tackle in 2021 for the Seahawks. Some people were saying Benjamin St-Juste. I don't know if there was a ton of gas behind getting a cornerback in the second round, but if there was, Benjamin St-Juste was there. Paulson Adebo was there. You could probably find a couple other guys. I like Tommy Tremble a lot. I don't know if there was a ton of second round energy behind him, but I like Tommy Tremble a lot. Some people really liked Amari Rogers. So there are definitely guys, and that's always going to be the case. That is not a knock on Dwayne Eskridge specifically, that there are other players the Seahawks could have taken, because that's true of literally every player who gets drafted except for, I guess, Mr. Irrelevant. But it's not just about the players we could have drafted instead of Dwayne Eskridge. It's about the receivers we could have gotten on this team besides Dwayne Eskridge. And if you take a look at the list of wide receivers that hit free agency in the last several months, who signed with other teams, you're going to find a lot of guys who the Seahawks, in theory, could have gone after to be our number 3, because we know we lost David Moore, right? We lost David Moore in free agency, and that created a void at his number 3 receiver position. I know some people like Freddie Swain, but I'm just not feeling it. I think Freddie Swain is what he is, which is a guy who belongs on an NFL roster, and I can't really say too much else about him. So we needed a new wide receiver 3. That's why we got Eskridge. So forgetting for a second the draft, there are definitely guys here you could have signed to fill that hole. Marvin Jones was somebody I think a lot of Seahawks fans were at least looking at. Some were looking at Juju Smith-Schuster, maybe Kendrick Bourne, Emmanuel Sanders. Keelan Cole, I think, had some interest behind him. You can go down this list. Antonio Brown was theory, at least. Bashad Perriman, John Ross. I'm not going to list everybody here, but the point is, you could go down this list and find guys that the Seahawks maybe should have gone after to be the number 3 receiver. So really, when we're looking at Dwayne Eskridge, we're looking at a guy who simply needs to produce as the number 3 receiver in 2021. That is the standard that we need to hold him to. That is the expectation for him. So as for setting a reasonable expectation, can we reasonably expect Dwayne Eskridge to slot in and produce in the NFL as a rookie? The answer is very clearly yes, and I'll go into why a little bit now. If you take a look at rookie wide receivers in the NFL over the last several years, there are multiple killers every single class. And I'm not even just talking about the guys who get drafted at the top. I'm not talking about the guys who go in the first 10 picks or even the first 20 picks. Even further than that, I'm not even talking about guys who go in the first 40 picks. There are receivers who get drafted somewhere between 40 and 100 and go out there and ball out as rookies, guys who contribute to their team. We see it every year. So for Dwayne Eskridge, the standard for success or failure in 2021 is simply be as productive as your predecessors at your draft slot. Because unlike other positions in the NFL, like sometimes quarterback, sometimes offensive lineman, offensive tackle especially, sometimes pass rusher, there doesn't seem to be a big learning curve for guys who play that position. So let's take a look at a few examples to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, the 2020 NFL draft. Let's take a look at the 2020 NFL draft here real quick. So if you take a look at every receiver who got drafted between, let's say, 41, so basically the middle part of the second round, all the way through to the third round, end of the third round, so basically 40 all the way through 106 in 2020, you're going to find two guys who played wide receiver who balled out as rookies. And that's all we have so far because these guys have only played their rookie season. You have Laviska Shenault Jr. for Jacksonville. He went out there as a rookie after getting taken in the second round and had 600 yards, 58 catches, 5 touchdowns, very productive. And then you add Chase Claypool. He got drafted in the later part of the second round and balled out. 62 catches, 873 yards, 9 touchdowns. He also had 2 touchdowns on end arounds. Don't see that a lot from receivers. So these two guys got drafted in that second round window, went out there, balled out. And this is actually one of the weaker collections of second to third round receiver rookie talent. If you go back to 2019, check this out. Okay, let's go through the 40 through 100 range here and take a look at some of the receivers. A.J. Brown from Ole Miss, 1,000-yard season, 52 catches, 8 touchdowns, absolutely monstrous stuff. Okay, let's keep going beyond A.J. Brown. Mikel Hardman went to Kansas City. I know he's playing in the greatest offense in human history, but as a rookie, 538 yards, more than 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. We're just looking at guys here who had more than 500 yards as a rookie, because I feel like that's kind of the threshold for success for the Dwayne Eskridge pick. And as you can see, it's not unreasonable to ask a rookie wide receiver drafted in his window to go out and do that. Mikel Hardman was drafted in the exact same draft slot 2 years ago as Dwayne Eskridge. Okay, let's keep going. DK Metcalf, do I even need to go look at the stats? You guys know. 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, 58 catches, record-breaking playoff game. Yeah. Okay, let's keep the gravy train going. How about Deontay Johnson of the Steelers? Yeah. 59 catches as a rookie for 680 yards, 5 touchdowns, 41 yards on end arounds. Nice stuff right here. Okay, let's keep on going. There's one more guy down here in the third round, Terry McLaurin. Oh, yeah, one of the better receivers in the league already. And as a rookie, he did not waste any time. 58 catches, 919 yards, 7 touchdowns. Dude's a baller. Dude is a baller. And he was a baller from the womb, or at least right after he got drafted. So that's 2019. Those are 5 wide receivers. 5 who became rookie studs after getting drafted in that second to third round window. And I'm leaving people off, by the way. Okay, 2018, we got 2 guys really in that window that I'm talking about here. So the first guy is, you actually have to scroll down just a little bit to find him. It's Christian Kirk. Where is he? Where is Christian Kirk? Well, wherever he is, he got drafted in this window in 2018, and Christian Kirk went on, 47th overall, and as a rookie, he had 590 yards, 43 receptions. Terrible team, but he produced. He found a way to produce. And the other guy I want to highlight in this collection of receiver talent is Michael Gallup of the Dallas Cowboys. He went to Dallas and joined up with eventually Amari Cooper and put up a very respectable 507 receiving yards on 33 catches. So 2 more guys drafted in that window that I'm talking about who banged as rookies, putting up not massive numbers in some cases, but they contributed. And that's what I'm looking for from Dwayne Eskridge. And just for the sake of being a completionist, let's go look at the 2017 draft for the exact same thing that I'm talking about here. Who are the guys who showed out as rookies here at wide receiver? Well, the first guy, Juju Smith-Schuster, I mean, forget about it, right? 917 yards, 7 touchdowns, almost 60 catches. Now, he didn't become a Pro Bowler until 2018, but as a rookie, the dude showed what he was capable of and made a big contribution to that 2017 Steelers team that went 13-3. And past that, you also have Cooper Kupp, our old friend, our favorite player in the world, right? We love this guy in Seattle, don't we? Yeah, Cooper Kupp gets drafted in the 3rd round, immediately goes and has a 60-catch season, 869 yards, 5 touchdowns. No problem. I take to the NFL field like a fish to water. And last guy we're going to highlight here is Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know that he's a great receiver. He's already made a Pro Bowl, but as a rookie, he was already producing 525 yards, a touchdown, 34 catches, solid effective numbers for him playing with Jameis Winston. So, in conclusion, Dwayne Eskridge does not have a free pass for not producing as a rookie. As you can clearly see, receivers drafted in his area of the draft who go out there and start balling, they grow on trees. You can find a couple every year, and every now and then you can find more than a couple. We found, 13 or 12 or 13 just in the last 4 drafts. So when Dwayne Eskridge takes the field next year, if he can stay healthy, then I would expect him to immediately become the number 3 receiver, taking over for Freddie Swain, who nominally has the spot right now. and I would expect him to produce to the tune of at least 500 receiving yards. And however you get them is however you get them. If you're getting them on a bunch of deep passes, great. If you're getting them on a bunch of short passes that go for yards after the catch, sure. If you're a possession receiver, all right, I can dig it. But however you do it, you got to go out there and do it, because this has to be the kind of standard we're holding you to, because we didn't draft you to redshirt. We didn't draft you to just chill out on the depth chart at the bottom of it and just catch a few passes over the course of the season. We drafted you to start as number 3 receiver now, and we drafted you to do what some of these guys did, put up production in that first year. So if he doesn't, then the offense that we're running in 2021 is going to be in a bad spot right from the very start. And it's going to reflect poorly on this front office that they went into a season without enough receivers to make the offense that we want work. So with those words, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. And yeah, clearly, if you take a look at the other players that have gone in his range at his position, Dwayne Eskridge has some expectations on him in 2020. And if he cannot live up to them, then I believe that this offense will be hamstrung in 2021. We're not going to get to see Wilson at his best. We're not going to get to see Shane Waldron at his best. We're going to be short a receiver, and it's going to limit what we can do. And that's going to make for an unpleasant time all around. It's going to make it so the offense doesn't reach its potential, make it so that Wilson maybe gets frustrated by the end of the year like we saw last year for maybe a different reason. And yeah, even though Dwayne Eskridge is just a rookie, I feel like there's a lot riding on his ability to go out there and perform in 2021. See you guys later. Go Hawks.